Okay, good morning. You've noticed a bunch of new faces around here today. We have a whole team from One Hope Canada that will be with us for the week. There's more coming in. And I'm going to ask the Quebec Atlantic Director, Corey Vale, to come in a minute and introduce those who are here so you can get some names and faces going. And I want to encourage you to spend some time with these missionaries and be an encouragement to them. They're here for their own gathering, their own meetings, but also to support what we're doing and to get to know you guys as students, right? Because it just might be on the off chance that you might want to work at a really good Christian camp this summer. Who knows? Could it happen? Just might. All right, let's pray. Father, thank you for One Hope Canada, and Lord, what a work of yourself this ministry has been over the years, and I think of the thousands of young people that have come to know Christ through their ministry, and we say thank you. We say thank you for each of the workers that are here, and we pray, Lord, that their time together this week with one another will be a blessing and encouragement, informative, helpful to their ministries, and that their time with us this week will be mutually encouraging. And for all of this, we just give thanks. In Christ's name, amen.
Would you be free from your burden of sin? There's power in the blood, power in the blood. Would you victory win? There's wonderful power in the blood. There is power, power, wonder-working power in the blood of the Lamb. There is power, power, wonder-working power in the precious blood of the Lamb. Would you be free from your passion and pride? There's power in the blood, power in the blood. Would you be cleansing to Calvary's side? There's wonderful power in the blood. There is power, power, wonder-working power in the blood of the Lamb. There is power, power, wonder-working power in the precious blood of the Lamb. Would you be whiter, much whiter than snow? There's power in the blood, power in the blood. Sin stains are lost and it's like every flow. There's wonderful power in the blood. There is power, power, wonder-working power in the blood of the Lamb. There is power, power, wonder-working power in the precious blood of the Lamb. Would you do service for Jesus for me? There's power in the blood, power in the blood. Would you be daily His praises to sing? There's wonderful power in the blood. There is power, power, wonder-working power in the blood of the Lamb. There is power, power, wonder-working power in the precious blood of the Lamb. There is power, power, wonder-working power in the blood of the Lamb. There is power, power, wonder-working power in the precious blood of the Lamb. You guys can sit down.
Well, good morning. It's great to be together this morning, and thank you guys for leading us in worship. That was powerful and so true. There's power in the blood of the Lamb. That's why we do what we do in One Hope Canada, is presenting the gospel to children and youth, especially those with the least opportunity to hear of Christ, and particularly to the... Anyways, I just messed it up. I'll share it with you in a second. So I want to introduce to you guys some of the missionaries who are here with us this morning. We have Russell Smith here from Newfound Life Bible Camp. Give a wave, Russell. We've got Derek from Gaspésie Community Ministries. He's going to be sharing with us this morning. We have the Camp Livingstone crew here, Jackie and Liddy and Leah. And so welcome to the Livingstone crew. They're going to be sharing this morning as well. We've got the Sandy Cove crew here, Gary, Christina, and Amy. And I think that is it for right now. So that's all the missionaries we have this morning. We do have some other missionaries that are going to be joining us this week. And you'll be hearing from them as well in the morning chapel. So a couple things that we're going to be doing this week while we're here. If you want to talk to some of our missionaries, we have some booths set up in the lounge. And we'll be around between 3 and 4 this afternoon and tomorrow afternoon. So if you want to talk to a particular camp about maybe serving there this summer, or you just want to learn more about the ministry, we'll be kind of hanging around. I want to set that specific time so that you would know that we'd be available at that specific time to chat. We're also going to be doing evening activities. So tonight we're going to be having escape room and I think Foursquare pickleball, and a snack and some testimonies. So that's tonight. And then tomorrow night, that starts at 8:30 tonight. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, we're going to have trivia and Jeopardy. I guess trivia / Jeopardy. It is Jeopardy. And then we're going to be doing snack as well, more testimonies. So please join us for those evening times together as well. I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of an overview of One Hope Canada. The region that I work with is Quebec and Atlantic, or as Gary calls it, Quebantic. But Quebec Atlantic Field Director, and I just want to share a little bit, kind of tee up what you'll be hearing this week a little bit from our missionaries. So I'm not seeing my slides here, so I'm not sure. So our purpose, we present the gospel, particularly to those having the least opportunity to hear of Christ, and especially to children and youth, and we disciple believers for living and serving through his church. We have 3 core values as a ministry. We're desperately dependent on God, we are completely confident in the Bible, and we are continually committed to being family. We have 4 areas of focus for our ministry. One of the primary things that we do is camp ministry. That's what you guys would probably be most familiar with. We also have community ministry. We're going to be hearing from 2 community ministries this week. We have digital discipleship, an app called 12. You'll be hearing from our director of the 12 app this week, Josh. He'll be here. And then training resources to equip the local church, to equip our missionaries in gospel-centered ministry. And so those are our 4, that's kind of what we do, what it looks like. Here's a little snapshot of our ministry across Canada, 42 Bible camps and community ministries. You see all those little green dots. And the region that you'll see represented here this week will be Quebec and Atlantic. But hey, if you want to have an amazing adventure somewhere in Western Canada or something like that, there are opportunities there too. So you might want to check out our website and see some of our other camps across the country. So here's a little bit to introduce our Quebec ministry. We have Camp des Îles. Unfortunately, they're not able to be with us this week, but we're here last year. We have Gaspésie Community Ministry, and you're going to be hearing from Derek today. And then Camp Livingstone is also here, and they'll be sharing this morning. Jackie will be sharing with us this morning as well. So I got a couple little videos I want to show you, just a little overview of the Quebec ministry here.
This province hosted the first ever indoor hockey game in 1875. It produces 120 million pounds of maple syrup each year and contains Canada's only walled city. Yes, we're talking about Quebec, Canada's largest province. 1/4 of all Canadians call Quebec home, and over 95% of them speak French. One Hope Canada has 2 Bible camps and 1 community ministry seeking to reach the people of Quebec in both English and French. We begin with the first camp we established in Quebec. Back in 1953, Camp Livingstone was created. On the shores of Lake Lovering in Quebec's southeast corner, the camp stretches away from the shoreline shared by many cottages and summer homes, up a narrow 72-acre property with trees generously scattered throughout. Though it began as a camp predominantly for English children and youth, it now offers bilingual camps enabling both French and English-speaking campers to attend. Our second Bible camp is Camp des Îles. Drive just 1 hour west of Montreal and you'll find this camp just south of La Chute. This camp began operating in 1980 and joined One Hope Canada in 2012, offering both French and English weeks of camp. Camp des Îles covers a total of 15 acres, 5 on the mainland site and 10 more on an island called l'Île aux Chats, or Cat Island, located in the middle of La Rivière du Nord, the North River, a tributary of the Ottawa River. Gaspésie Community Ministry is located on the Gaspé Peninsula and began in 2020. This ministry runs their weeks of Bible camp at Fairhaven Bible Camp, located on the ocean on the south side of the Gaspé Peninsula in the Gulf of the St. Lawrence. They continue their outreach ministry throughout the year, running a weekly youth outreach program to youth in a number of locations spread out over close to 100 kilometers.
So that's just a quick overview of our Quebec ministry, but you'll be hearing more details in a moment. Our Atlantic ministry, we've got Newfound Life Bible Camp, their community ministry in St. John's, Newfoundland. You'll be hearing from them this week. Miramichi Bible Camp in New Brunswick, Sandy Cove Bible Camp, and Hampton Bible Camp, also in New Brunswick, Cape Breton Bible Camp, and Blomidon Bible Camp in Nova Scotia. So let's watch a quick video just to give an overview of the Atlantic ministry.
This region boasts 4 provinces in one, including Canada's youngest province and Canada's only official bilingual province. Yes, we're talking about the Maritimes in Atlantic Canada, where you are never more than 1 hour from a scenic saltwater beach with miles of stunning ocean shorelines. With 6% of Canada's population, not only the people but the places are unforgettable. Let's not forget the red cliffs of Prince Edward Island, the Cabot Trail in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, the Hopewell Rocks on the Bay of Fundy in New Brunswick, or the majestic fjords of Grossmore National Park in Newfoundland and Labrador. 5 Bible camps and 1 community ministry bring the gospel to this region of Canada. Sandy Cove Bible Camp was our first One Hope Canada camp established in the Maritime Provinces back in 1949. It's tucked into a tree-covered 10-acre property with waterfront on Davidson Lake. Sandy Cove is located in western New Brunswick, 40 minutes west of the capital, Fredericton. Hampton Bible Camp is located 90 minutes southeast of Fredericton in the pastoral New Brunswick countryside. The 34 acres used for camp programming is a combination of open fields and forest. This camp doesn't have cabins, but instead houses all campers in one of 2 main buildings. Hampton began reaching this area of New Brunswick back in 1980. It doesn't get smaller than this. Blomidon Bible Camp is One Hope Canada's smallest camp with only 2.5 acres. Being located in the southern end of Blomidon Provincial Park makes up for it, with easy access to great heights and the ocean beach. It began back in 1964 as Truth for Youth Bible Camp, but restarted in 2016 with its new name after being closed for 8 years. One of our Bible camps is found on the shores of the Miramichi River in northwest New Brunswick, Miramichi Bible Camp. It had its start in 1964 in a more remote location, but restarted in 2012. It serves its children and youth on its 16-acre property. 2 hours south of the famous Cabot Trail, Cape Breton Bible Camp is located on a sheltered ocean inlet on the southeast shores of Cape Breton Island. Children began to come to this camp on this site as early as 1967. The camp property is only 9 acres in size, but takes advantage of their access to the ocean in the shelter of Kelly's Cove. On the biggest of the maritime provinces we find Newfound Life Bible Camp. This ministry runs day camps, VBS, and teen camp in the summer, and diverse community ministry throughout the year, including Bible clubs and a puppet ministry on YouTube.
Replay it, okay? Yeah. Okay.
This region boasts 4 provinces in one, including Canada's youngest province and Canada's only official bilingual province. Yes, we're talking about the Maritimes in Atlantic Canada, where you are never more than 1 hour from a scenic saltwater beach with miles of stunning ocean shorelines. With 6% of Canada's population, not only the people but the places are unforgettable. Let's not forget the red cliffs of Prince Edward Island, the Cabot Trail in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, the Hopewell Rocks on the Bay of Fundy in New Brunswick, or the majestic fjords of Grossmore National Park in Newfoundland and Labrador. 5 Bible camps and 1 community ministry bring the gospel to this region of Canada. Sandy Cove Bible Camp was our first One Hope Canada camp established in the Maritime Provinces back in 1949. It's tucked into a tree-covered 10-acre property with waterfront on Davidson Lake. Sandy Cove is located in western New Brunswick, 40 minutes west of the capital, Fredericton. Hampton Bible Camp is located 90 minutes southeast of Fredericton in the pastoral New Brunswick countryside. The 34 acres used for camp programming is a combination of open fields and forest. This camp doesn't have cabins, but instead houses all campers in one of 2 main buildings. Hampton began reaching this area of New Brunswick back in 1980. It doesn't get smaller than this. Blomden Bible Camp is One Hope Canada's smallest camp with only 2.5 acres. Being located in the southern end of Blomden Provincial Park makes up for it, with easy access to great heights and the ocean beach. It began back in 1964 as Truth for Youth Bible Camp, but restarted in 2016 with its new name after being closed for 8 years. One of our Bible camps is found on the shores of the Miramichi River in northwest New Brunswick, Miramichi Bible Camp. It had its start in 1964 in a more remote location, but restarted in 2012. It serves its children and youth on its 16-acre property. 2 hours south of the famous Cabot Trail, Cape Breton Bible Camp is located on a sheltered ocean inlet on the southeast shores of Cape Breton Island. Children began to come to this camp on this site as early as 1967. The camp property is only 9 acres in size, but takes advantage of their access to the ocean in the shelter of Kelly's Cove. On the biggest of the maritime provinces we find Newfound Life Bible Camp. This ministry runs day camps, VBS, and teen camp in the summer, and diverse community ministry throughout the year, including Bible clubs and a puppet ministry on YouTube.
So that gives you a little bit of an overview of our Atlantic ministry points. Just a few stats quickly before I hand it off to our Quebec ministries. So in our region, Quebec and Atlantic Canada together this past season, we were able to reach 3,060 campers who came and heard the gospel through our camps and community ministries in Quebec and Atlantic Canada. And out of all of those campers, we had 102 professions of faith. I shouldn't say campers, people that we're reaching. 102 first-time professions of faith this past ministry season. A couple of other stats, 386 short-term and summer missionaries and volunteers. I know some of you have served at our camp, so I want to say thank you. And you include part of that number, 386. We have 22 year-round missionaries in Quebec and Atlantic Canada, and you'll be seeing some of them this week, so please get to know us. 45 local volunteer board members, and every one of our ministry points has a board of volunteers that help shepherd and steward the ministry. I'm just going to skip this just for the sake of time. And thank you guys, and I am going to call up Jackie to share from Camp Livingstone.
I have to plug it in? Okay. Oops. All right, good morning, bon matin. I have a video here to show you, so we'll start with that. Sorry. I might need help to get out of this. Get to the next slide.
Yeah, I think it should be.
Click on it, okay. Good. So, bon matin. Je suis vraiment privilégiée de venir vous parler du Camp Livingstone. I'm so honored to share with you Camp Livingstone. Do I need to speak with this, Laura? So I'm so happy to come and share with you the ministry in Quebec. Camp Livingstone was started by a bilingual missionary couple, a French-Canadian with his Australian wife, back in 1953. And in order to reach out to the French of Quebec, we now run completely bilingual programs. Everything is translated. This is a wonderful way for you to come and practice your French. So in Quebec, less than 5% of our population attends church, many of which are not even Christian churches. And yet, many families will send their kids to camp, which makes camp ministry a unique opportunity to bring the gospel to children and youth who might have no other way of hearing the gospel. In June, we begin with 700 students who come from public schools to come and experience camp for a day. And many of those kids will come back for our summer programming throughout the summer. We offer free weeks of camp to the schools to give to students that wouldn't be able to afford to come to camp on their own. And this gets us so excited because many of these kids have never heard of the gospel or of the Bible or of the God who loves them. So we begin our program. We've got camps for every different age group and interest level. This year we're starting a multi-sports camp for 1 week in collaboration with Athletes in Action. And so there's our team members. We'll put our different people into the different camps according to their expertise and their passion and their preference. We've got, here's a few of the activities that we enjoy at our camp. But at camp, the games, the activities, and the programs, they're more than just to have fun. They're really there to create a safe and welcoming environment where campers can build relationships. The campers experience the joy and they encounter God's love as it's lived out by the leaders around them. And as trust grows and connections deepen, they become more and more open to listening, to hearing, and considering the message of the gospel. One of our program coordinators of our adventure camp, Tim Blanchette, he shared this testimony with us. He said, a few months after camp, I was invited to the baptism of one of my campers. He shared how the Bible studies, the spiritual conversations, and the example of his camp leaders reshaped his understanding of God and sparked a desire to take his faith seriously. As he stepped into the water, Tim says, I cheered through tears, grateful to witness faith shared, lives transformed, and God at work. Another camper who had been came for years to our camp, came from a non-Christian home. His father's a Buddhist, and he kept returning year after year, hearing the gospel faithfully preached through our speakers, shared by his cabin leaders. And last year he came back as one of our junior leaders on staff, and he shared at the end of the summer, he said, I've been thinking back on the past few weeks. Everywhere I looked at camp, I saw genuine joy. I'm so grateful for the time I got to spend there. It's helped me grow so much, not only as a person, but also in my faith. He said, I started the camp this summer calling myself a semi-Christian, but now I can truly say I've been saved by Jesus. For the first time, it feels like I've ended summer with a purpose and fulfilled it. So here, you students have been here all year. You've been gone deeper into the Word. Well, at camp, you get to put all that you've learned into practice, and not alone, but in community. Over the past few summers, we've had cabin leaders who were coming to Quebec, and they didn't into our camp and didn't have a lot of French, and so they were a little nervous. But by the end of the summer, they were not only pleased with their improved French skills, but they had built relationships with campers that came from very diverse backgrounds, and leading some kids to Christ. And they just discovered the joy of ministering in Quebec, where so few have heard the gospel. And it's like helping to turn on a light in a very dark room. And our staff comes from very diverse places. They come from different countries. And we had someone from Germany last year, someone from South Korea is coming this year. And you'll hear all kinds of languages being spoken. And but one of the most important things for us is that we want to equip our staff. And so we always start the summer off with a week of training so that you can learn all aspects of camp ministry. And we give you the tools and the opportunities to practice sharing the gospel and sharing your own personal faith journey. We have a male and female mentor that meet regularly one-on-one with our staff to mentor them, to pray with them, and to share. This summer in particular, our staffing needs, we definitely need senior cabin leaders who, and also the program coordinators. Serving as a senior cabin leader gives you a chance to make a real difference in the lives of the camper. You'll guide a cabin of children or teens. You'll mentor a junior cabin leader and model Christ-like character in your day-to-day interactions. Program coordinators get to lead the weekly camp experience, turning creative ideas into well-organized, fun, and meaningful programs for campers, all the while mentoring a junior leader as well. At camp, you get to see the God working daily in tangible ways. You have the joy of being used by God, sharing Christ. We need cabin leaders, kitchen, hospitality, and maintenance staff to make camp run smoothly. Whether you're leading a kid through an archery activity, cutting the grass, or helping to prepare a meal, you're part of the mission to share Jesus with the children of Quebec. Quebec is one of the most spiritually unreached regions in North America, and yet it's a place where summer camps have an open door to share the gospel. Would you consider joining us in this incredible mission field? Together we can bring hope and transformation to a generation that desperately needs Christ. Merci. Thank you so much, NBBI. If God lays it on your heart, we welcome you to join our team to help bring and shine the light of Christ in Quebec. À bientôt. We hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Jackie. Derek's going to come up now and share about his ministry.
Well, good morning. It's great to be here with you all. I'll try not to walk around too much. Last time I was here, they said we should have given you one of those walking mics because I pace all around everywhere. I'm no good at that either. I hold it down here, so I'll try to be good. I need a pair of lead shoes, really. Perfect. Thank you for that. It seems like I have no signal. I don't know if I just move that around. It's the curse of your computer, Corey. It shocks him every time he touches it, too. Nope. Hopefully it just doesn't go away again. Okay, so yeah, I'm here presenting today the Gaspésie Community Ministry, which my wife and I run on the Gaspé Coast in Quebec, really on the south shore there. And as I was thinking about my presentation, I was trying to consider what can I kind of give you to walk away with? And I just didn't want to talk about the different facets of our ministry. I wanted to kind of walk you through some of what we call our ministry building blocks. So these essential ideas that help guide us and maybe kind of get you in a frame of mind that you'd be thinking about these things as well if you ever find yourself in a position to do community ministry. We've lost it again. I don't know if it's just like it times out or something, and then it. I'll let you mess with that, Corey, and then I'll press on like this. He's electrically charged. I'll just open up my presentation if ever you guys won't get to see, but there you go. Our first thing that we talk about a lot of the time, it's kind of our motto in a lot of ways. We say no shortage of work. And basically the idea here is that you can look around and there's ministry opportunities really everywhere around us. And the way I thought about this in this mind is, how do you serve when you're outnumbered by opportunities? When you look around and there's ministry opportunities everywhere, what do you do with it? What do you do when your slides aren't cooperating with you? Bring your own computer next time, maybe. So the situation in Quebec is a unique one in that less than 1% of Quebecers are evangelical Christians. So there's very few Christians in Quebec. And in fact, 80% of our youth will leave the church by the time they reach the age of 18. And it is one of the least reached populations in North and South America, one of the largest least reached populations anyway in all of those places. So there's this massive need in Quebec, and where we're positioned, our ministry point, we kind of serve in these areas primarily. Where from a place called Mariah to Port Daniel, it covers about an hour and 40 minutes or so. But since there's so few ministries there, we actually get youth coming from all of these areas, which covers 3 hours and about 10 minutes of ground that we're covering through our ministry and our work. So there is opportunities everywhere and very few ministries that are happening in these places. So the first thing that we want to do then when we're thinking about serving and bringing our ministry is that we want everything to be Bible-based and Christ-centered. So we're relying on our sure hope to find the lost and then to lead the found. And obviously there's two sides of that. There's the gospel, where we're presenting this life-changing power in Jesus. And then there's discipleship, teaching people to live it out, to obey everything that Jesus commanded them. And one of the best examples we have of that is a place called Fairhaven Bible Camp, which you'll see through my ministry, my testimony, which I'm going to give later today, is a place that's really close to my heart. But we see at Fairhaven, the gospel is being preached. We're bringing in these people who have had no opportunity. Sometimes it's the first time they're hearing about Jesus. Oftentimes, the only time they heard the name Jesus was a curse word in their house. And we're seeing them put their faith in Jesus. But then it doesn't stop there, because then we walk alongside them, we train them up, and then they become counselors and leaders, and they begin living out their faith and sharing it with other people as well. Now, from there, of course, keeping in mind that things are still Bible-based and Christ-centered all the time, what we want consistent connection and real relationships. So we're meeting the need for dependable, sincere, and genuine bonds. Does that mean my time is up, or that gives me 5 minutes? Yeah, okay, perfect. So we want this real relationships to be happening. And so that's where it comes into what we kind of call our bread and butter. Throughout the year, these are the things that we're doing basically on a weekly or monthly basis. So we have 2 youth groups in 2 different areas where we're preaching the gospel. We have a monthly activity where we're bringing them out. We normally do a lot of hiking, kayaking, that type of stuff. And we're building up this confidence, and we're spending time with them in these activities, getting to know people, seeing where their needs are. Then, with a lot of them, we'll begin a discipleship relationship where we do one-on-one discipleship, and we walk through them in life. Normally it's on a monthly basis, and we're connecting with them and really seeing where their needs are at. And then our newest addition into that bread and butter section is what we call the Next Step Sunday School. That, okay, you've been coming to youth group, maybe you've been coming to camp. What do you do now? What are the next steps that you can take in your faith? And all these things, we're building this close connection, and there's this consistency then that we're with them as they go through things. The third thing is impactful adaptability and sustainable implementation. So we're using what we have to meet the needs that we see without falling to pieces. And that one's pretty important in the end. So this is where we get a little bit creative then. We can do all sorts of things. And this is the great thing about community ministry, is that it can be really nimble, that where we can see a need, we respond to the need. So there's so many things you can say yes to, but at the same time, you've got to keep sustainability in mind. How can we make sure we keep going with this and we're not just going to lose it and burn out? So this is always something that we're considering where, okay, we see that the community is not really aware of us. Okay, we're going to do a parade then, and people will be really visible and out there. We notice that there's literacy problems. People can't read. Okay, so we're going to teach them how to read and start a literacy program. They're leaving youth group, but they're not quite going to church yet because they've never set foot in a church in their life. Okay, so we're going to need young adults to be a stepping stone between those things. We have so many questions that we're encountering. Okay, let's start doing regular Q&A nights. And then we follow up with these things and keep them going. One of the things we're excited about, we're going to do our first retreat next week. I'm bringing 7 youth here to NBBI for one of the encounters. So these are all the things to keep in mind as we're serving in this. And the result of this, if you're keeping up with these things and you're serving, you're being consistent, you're being sustainable, you're being Christ-centered, there's a breaking of this cycle of suffering that can happen, and we see the transformation of lives occurring from that. So that's just a really brief introduction to it all. If you want to talk to me about these things in more depth, come see me. I love to have conversations about the ministry. I know you have classes to get to, so I won't keep you any longer. Thank you for listening to that. And hopefully we'll be able to talk a little bit more soon. God bless.